Hello, okay. So, malamang rinig na rinig nyo ang pagtahol ng aming mga aso. At tapos ko lamang ilipat ang aming sasakyan sa plaza sapagkat kami binabaha. Ay, walang pagbabago. Kasi po ang mga drainage namin dito sa Subic ay sadyang putol-putol, hindi maayos. Wala po kaming maayos na drainage dito. At habang malamig ang panahon, pinatay ko muna ang fan. At tayo po ay magbabalik na sa ating discussion. Okay. Tumigil po tayo sa last video natin doon sa Article 9. Okay. Okay. Ang Article 9 po ay ang Constitutional Commissions. Oh. So, simulan na po natin. Section 1. The Constitutional Commissions which shall be independent are, tatlo po yan, Civil Service Commission, the Commission on Elections, and the Commission on Audit. Section 2. No member of a Constitutional Commission shall, during his tenure, hold any other office or employment. Para ring mga senador at mga undersecretaries and undersecretaries, ano. Sandali lang po, ha. Okay, so ako nagbabalik, ha. Nireport lang sa akin ni Tita na sa kanyang paglabas, ang tubig ng Custodio Street ay bumabagsak sa amin. At kami bilang pinakamababang bahagi dito ay walang, kasi walang may pakialam siguro. Siguro sabi nila, payaman ka, magtaas ka ng ano mo. Siguro gano'n ang sabi nila, no? So mabalik tayo dito, Section 2. Sabi rito, no member of a Constitutional Commission shall, during his tenure, hold any other office or employment. Neither shall he engage in practice of any profession or in the active management or control of any business which in any way may be affected by the functions of his office, nor shall he be financially interested, directly or indirectly, in any contract with or in any franchise or privilege granted by the government, any of its subdivisions, agencies, or instrumentalities, including government-owned or controlled corporations or their subsidiaries. Salary 3. Section 3. The salary of the chairman and the commissioner shall be fixed by law and shall not be decreased during their tenure. Lalaki ng sweldo ng mga members ng Constitutional Commissions, ha? The Constitutional Commission shall appoint their officials and employees in accordance with law. Section 5. The Commission shall enjoy fiscal autonomy. Para din po sila ng judiciary, mayroong fiscal autonomy. Their approved annual appropriation shall be automatically and regularly released. Section 6. Each commission and bank, para sa Supreme Court din po, and bank, sama-sama yung mga chairman ng mga constitution na yun, may promulgate its own rules concerning pleadings and practice before it or before any of its offices. Such rules, however, shall not diminish, increase, or modify substantive rights. Similar din sa judiciary. Ito siguro yung sinasabi nating mga quasi-judicial bodies, mga constitutional commissions. Pag may kaso ka sa civil service, kailangan mo rin magsumite ng pleading, ng paliwanag. Bahagi pa rin yan ng due process. Ano? Section 7. Each commission shall decide by a majority vote of all its members any case or matter brought before it within 60 days from the date of its submission for decision or resolution. A case or matter is deemed submitted for decision or resolution upon the filing of the last pleading. Parang sa korte rin. Upon filing of the last pleading daw, uh, brief, filing of the last brief, or memorandum required by the rules of the Commission or by the Commission itself. Unless otherwise provided by this Constitution or by law, any decision, order, or ruling of each Commission may be brought to the Supreme Court on certiorari. Ito yung isang nakalagay sa rules yan, yung certiorari, nakalagay sa rules of court na pwede mo lamang questionin o pwede ka mag-apila ang mga desisyon ng mga Constitutional Commission sa Supreme Court. On certiorari. Certiorari po yung tawag dun sa action na ginagamit para i-apila siya kung baga sa Supreme Court. Within 30 days, ito po, from receipt of copy thereof. So pagka ako, may problema ako sa Constitutional Commission, nag-rule sila against me. So pwede akong umapila pagkatanggap ko ng copy ng ruling. Within 30 days, no, pwede po akong umapila sa Supreme Court. Section 8. Each commission shall perform such other functions as may be provided by law. Yan. Okay. Ano yung unang-una naman sa mga constitutional commissions na to? Ito ang the Civil Service Commission. Section 1. The civil service shall be administered by the Civil Service Commission composed of a chairman, tapos 2 commissioners who shall be natural-born citizens of the Philippines and at the time of their appointment at least 35 years of age, parang senador din, with proven capacity for public administration and must not have been candidates for any elective position in the elections immediately preceding their appointments. Dapat di sila tumakbo sa nagdaang halalan bago sila i-appoint. The chairman and the commissioner shall be appointed by the president with the consent of the commission on appointments for a term of 7 years. Grabe, 7 years sila. Without reappointment. Of those first appointed, the chairman shall hold office for 7 years. Yung commissioner naman daw for 5 years and another commissioner for 3 years. So 3 commissioner. Pero yung chairman and 2 commissioner daw eh. So the chairman, 7 taon yan. Okay. Appointment to any vacancy shall be only for the unexpired term of the predecessor. In no case shall any member be appointed or designated in a temporary or acting capacity. Okay. Section 2. The civil service embraces all branches, subdivisions, instrumentalities, and agencies of the government, including government-owned and controlled corporations with original chapters. Appointments in the civil service shall be made only according to merit and fitness to be determined as far as practicable and except the positions which are policy determining, primarily confidential or highly technical by competitive examination. Sabi rin dito, no officer or employee of the civil service shall be removed or suspended except for cause provided by law. Hindi mo pwedeng basta pag-initan, alisin mo. No. Kailangan merong cause na provided ng law. No officer or employee in the civil service shall engage directly or indirectly in any electioneering or partisan political campaign. Tama nga naman. The right to self-organization shall not be denied to government employees. So, pwede rin silang mag-self-organize para bang union. Ganun. Temporary employees of the government shall be given such protection as may be provided by law. Hindi naman totoo yan. Sa ngayon, napakarami pa rin temporary position na wala namang protection. Unless malakas ka, mali naman, di mo na deserving sa pwesto mo, pero ikaw yung gusto ng mayor sa local government o ano. Pakahirap po sa atin, daming hindi nasusunod sa konstitusyon. Section 3, the Civil Service Commission as a central personnel agency of the government shall establish a career service and adopt measures to promote morale, efficiency, integrity, responsiveness, progressiveness, and courtesy in the civil service. It shall strengthen the merit and reward system, integrate all human resources development programs for all levels and ranks, and institutionalize a management climate conducive to public accountability. Malinaw yun ha, yun ang gawain ng Civil Service Commission. It shall submit to the President of the Congress an annual report on its personnel programs. Similar din sa nabasa natin sa judiciary, they shall submit to the President and to the Congress yung kanilang mga programa. Section 4, all public officers and employees shall take an oath or affirmation to uphold and defend this Constitution. Section 5, the Congress shall provide for the standardization and compensation of government officials and employees, including those in government-owned or controlled corporations with original charters, taking into account the nature of the responsibilities pertaining to and the qualifications required for their positions. Section 6, no candidate who has lost in any election shall, within 1 year after such election, be appointed to any office in the government or any government-owned or controlled corporations or in any of their subsidiaries. Touch na natin yan kanina. Section 7, no elective official shall be eligible for appointment or designation in any capacity to any public office or position during his tenure. Unless otherwise allowed by law or by the primary functions of his position, wala raw appointed official dito sa constitutional dito sa civil service shall hold any other office or employment in the government or any subdivision, agency, or instrumentality thereof, including GOCCs or their subsidiaries. Section 8, wala raw sino man, no elective or appointed public officer or employee shall receive additional, double, or indirect compensation unless specifically authorized by law. Ewan ko kung paano nila napapaikot yung batas, ano? Hindi rin sila pwedeng mag-accept. They cannot accept without the consent of the Congress any present emolument, office, or title of any kind from any foreign government. Ayan, period. Pensions or gratuities shall not be considered as additional, double, or indirect compensation. Tama lang naman. Susunod naman ay ang the Commission on Elections. Okay. Saan ba ako? Ayan. Section 1 ng Commission on Elections, there shall be a Commission on Elections composed of a chairman and 6 or 6 commissioners who shall be natural-born citizens of the Philippines and at the time of their appointment at least 35 years of age. Kailangan holders sila of a college degree and must not have been candidates for any elective positions. Di sila tumakbo sa kahit na anong posisyon sa nagdaang halalan, sabi, in the immediately preceding elections. However, a majority thereof, including the chairman, yung chairman daw, shall be members of the Philippine Bar, kailangan abogado, who have been engaged in the practice of law for at least 10 years. Hindi naman pa pwede yung abogado siya tapos artista siya. Hindi naman yun practice of law. Diba? Sa mga mag-aaral ng batas, dinedefine nila kung ano yung practice of law. Yung ikaw ay nasa isang law firm, ikaw ay nagtuturo, considered practice of law yun. Ikaw ay meron kang hawak na korporasyon, or whatsoever. Basta dinefine yun sa para sa mga law students lang yun, huwag na nating alamin. Basta sa atin, kailangan nagpa-practice siya ng law. Hindi pwedeng abogado ka, tapos ang profession mo sa nagdaang 10 taon, artista, hindi ka kwalipikado pa rin dito. Yung chairman and the commissioner shall be appointed, saan nga ba ako? By the President with the consent of the Commission on Appointments. Pag sinabing may consent, kailangan papahintulutan ng Commission on Appointments, hindi lamang ng Pangulo. For a term of 7 years. Para din siya nung sa 7 years without reappointment. Parang sa civil service din, yung chairman doon. Of those first appointed, 3 member daw shall hold office for 7 years, 2 member daw for 5 years, and the last members for 3 years. Parang civil service din, ano? Without reappointment yun, ha? Appointment to any vacancy shall be only for the unexpired term of the predecessor. Paliwanag ko yan kasi meron din yan sa civil service kanina. Kunwari, si A, hindi niya natapos ang kanyang term, no? May nalalabi pa siyang 3 years. Doon sa 7 years na dapat niyang ipagsisilbi. Yung bagong i-appoint sa posisyon niya ay magsisilbi lamang for the 3 years doon sa hindi niya natapos na term, no? In no case shall any member be appointed or designated in temporary or acting capacity. Section 3, the Commission on Elections may sit and bank or in 2 divisions, and shall promulgate its rules of procedure in order to expedite disposition of election cases. Para daw pabilisin yung proseso sa election cases na parang hindi naman nangyayari. Yung bumibilis ang mga election cases and controversy. Tingnan mo na lang yung kaso ni Marcos. Mabot na ng Supreme Court pagkabagal-bagal ng election protest ni Marcos laban kay Leni Robredo. All such election cases shall be heard and decided in division, provided that motions for reconsideration of decisions shall be decided by the Commission and Bank. Okay, Section 4, the Commission may, during the election period, supervise or regulate the enjoyment or utilization of all franchises or permits for the operation of transportation and other public utilities, media of communication or information, all grants, special privileges, or concessions granted by the government, or any subdivision, agency, or instrumentality thereof, including any government-owned or controlled corporation or its subsidiary. Such supervision or regulation shall aim to ensure equal opportunity and equal rates, therefore, for public information campaigns and forums among candidates in connection with the objective of holding free, orderly, honest, peaceful, and credible elections. So, sisiguruhin ng mga COMELEC. Kaya nga mayroong mga election laws. May mga rules sila na bawal mong lubagin. Kailangan siguraduhin na patas ang pagpapakilala ng mga kandidato sa kanilang mga sarili. Saan pa nga. Section 4, the Commission may, during the election period, supervise or regulate the enjoyment or utilization of all franchises or permits. Parang naulit lang. Section 5 na pala ako. No pardon, amnesty, parole, or suspension of sentence for violation of election laws, rules, and regulations shall be granted by the President without the favorable recommendation of the Commission. So, kailangan daw i-recommenda ng Commission sa Pangulo bago bigyan ng parole o amnesty ng Pangulo yung mga lumabag sa election offenses. Yung mga lumabag sa election rules, ibig ko sabihin. Yung mga gumawa ng election offenses. Section 6, a free and open party system shall be allowed to evolve according to the free choice of the people, subject to the provisions of this article. Ay nako, pero mga partido lang naman ng mga mayayaman at makapangyarihan ang paikot-ikot dyan. Pag hindi ka kilala, matik, ano ka na kaagad? Nuisance candidate. No votes cast in favor of a political party, organization, or coalition shall be valid except for those registered under the party list system as provided in this Constitution. Section 8, political parties, organizations, or coalitions registered under the party list system shall not be represented in the voters' registration boards, boards of election inspectors, boards of canvassers, or other similar bodies. However, they should be entitled to appoint poll watchers in accordance with the law. That's why yung mga naglalaban na mayor, meron sila mga poll watcher. Yun lang ang pwede. Yun lang ang inaalaw. Section 9. Unless otherwise fixed by the Commission in special cases, the election period shall commence 90 days before the day of election and shall end 30 days thereafter. So, ang election period, kung May 1, kunwari ang election, sabihin natin May 4, 90 days bago mag-May 4, election period na. Natapos ang halalan, kunwari, ng May 4, another 30 days. Okay? Section 10, bona fide candidates from any public office shall be free from any form of harassment and discrimination. Mabalik ako doon sa Section 9, Ibig ko lang sabihin nun, kunwari, liquor ban during election period, nahulihan ka ng alak, tapos na yung election, pwede ka pa rin ikulong o hulihin sa paglabag mo sa liquor ban kasi 30 days after the election, election period pa rin namili ka na o nagtinda ka na ng alak, pakalat-kalat na, may dala kang alak. Yun po ang kahalagaan ng election period. Okay. Section 11. Funds certified by the Commission as necessary to defray the expenses for holding regular and special elections, plebiscites, initiatives, referenda, and recalls shall be provided in the regular or special appropriations and once approved shall be released automatically upon certification by the chairman of the Commission. Okay? Punta naman tayo sa susunod, ikatlong Constitutional Commission, which is yung Commission on Audit. Sabi rito, similar din siya sa ibang Constitutional Commission. There shall be a Commission on Audit composed of a chairman and 2 commissioners who shall be natural-born citizens of the Philippines and at the time of their appointment at least 35 years of age. Parang yung mga nagdaan din at parang mga senador din. Ang qualification nila kailangan, yun nga, basic yun, 35 years of age, certified public accountants sila dapat with not less than 10 years of auditing experience, or kung di ka CPA na may 10 years experience, members of the Philippine Bar ka, abogado ka who have been engaged in the practice of law for at least 10 years din. At least yun. At dapat din hindi ka kandidato sa nagdaang halalan immediately preceding their appointment. At no time shall members of the commission belong to the same profession. The chairman and the commissioner shall be appointed by the president, gano'n na naman, with the consent of the commission on appointments for a term of 7 years without reappointment. Ibig lang sabihin nun, 7 years, hindi na kayo pwedeng i-reappoint. Lalo na sa ibang pwesto, no? Although, ibig ko sabihin, hindi kayo pwedeng i-appoint without reappointment doon sa pwestong yun. Of those first appointed, the chairman shall hold the office for 7 years, 1 commissioner for 5 years, and the other commissioner for 3 years. So 7, 5, 3. Tatlo sila isang chairman, 2 commissioner. So 7 si chairman, 5 doon sa isang commissioner, and 3 doon sa isang commissioner. Pag natapos na yung 3 years ng isang commissioner, hindi na siya pwedeng i-appoint ulit as doon sa same pwesto na yon. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng without reappointment. Appointment to any vacancy shall be only for the unexpired portion of the term of the predecessor. In no case shall any member be appointed or designated in a temporary or acting capacity. Ano pa ba susunod? Section 2. The Commission on Audit shall have the power, authority, and duty to, ito yung mga powers nila, and duties, to examine, audit, and settle all accounts pertaining to the revenue and receipts of and expenditures or uses of funds and property owned, pag-aari or paghahawak or held in trust by or pertaining to the government or any of its subsidiaries or any of its subdivisions, agencies, or instrumentalities, including GOCCs, yung mga government-owned and controlled corporations with original charters and on post-audit basis. Constitutional bodies, commissions, and offices that have been granted fiscal autonomy under this Constitution, ino-audit din po yan. Autonomous states, colleges, and university, kasali yan sa ino-audit nila. Other government-owned or controlled corporations and their subsidiaries, ino-audit nila yan. At sa panghuli, such non-governmental entities receiving subsidy or equity directly or indirectly from or through the government which are required by law or the granting institution to submit to such audit as a condition of subsidy or equity. Syempre, kumukuha na ka ng pondo sa gobyerno bilang NGO. Kailangan maipakita mo sa gobyerno na ginagamit mo sa takdang purpose yung pondong ibinibigay sa'yo. Pondo ng taong bayan yan Kaya kailangan kayo audit. However, where the internal control system of the audited agencies is inadequate, the Commission may adopt such measures, including temporary or special pre-audit. Pwede nilang gawin yan, as are necessary and appropriate to correct the deficiencies. It shall keep the general accounts of the government and, for such period as may be provided by law, preserve the vouchers and other supporting papers pertaining thereto. The Commission shall have exclusive authority, ibig sabihin exclusive sila lang, subject to the limitations in this article, to define the scope of its audit and examination, establish the techniques and methods required therefore, and promulgate accounting and auditing rules and regulations, including those for the prevention and disallowance of irregular, unnecessary, excessive, extravagant, or unconscionable expenditures or uses of government funds and properties. Section 3 ng Commission on Audit. No law shall be passed exempting any entity of the government or subsidiaries in any guise or whatever, or any investment of public funds from the jurisdiction of the Commission on Audit. dapat lahat ng entity ng gobyerno is subject to audit nitong COA. Kaya pag ang COA mo, kaya dapat ako para sa akin, dapat ang mga COA protektado ito para hindi sila makorap. Okay. Kung maaari sana lahat ng trabaho nilang pag-audit na ipapakita sa publiko. Mag-audit sila ng local government, dapat nakikita sana ng publiko. Section 4, the Commission shall submit to the President and the Congress within the time fixed by law an annual report covering the financial condition and operation of the government, its subdivisions, agencies, and instrumentalities, including government-owned or controlled corporations and non-governmental entities subject to its audit. At dapat sila mag-recommend ng mga measures, ng mga pamamaraan necessary to improve their effectiveness and efficiency. Medyo hindi po kami effective dito. Tingin ko po dapat ganito. Yan. Kailangan sila mag-submit ng ganong recommendation. It shall submit such other reports as may be required by law. Okay, so natapos na tayo sa Commission on Audit. Pasok naman tayo sa local government. Dito nakapaloob yung provincial government at yung ating mga munisipyo or city governments. Okay. Section 1, Article 10, Local Government. The territorial and political subdivisions of the Republic of the Philippines are, ito na yun, the provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays. There shall be autonomous regions in Muslim Mindanao and the Cordilleras as hereinafter provided. Ngayon, i-share ko lang yung 2 cents ko bakit may autonomous region ng Muslim Mindanao at Cordilleras. Sa kadahilan ng meron silang sariling mga kultura na kailangan nating tulungan silang i-preserve. Okay? Kaya meron silang autonomy mas may kalayaan sila ng konti kumpara sa ibang LGU o local government. Section 2. The territorial and political subdivisions shall enjoy local autonomy. Lahat naman ng LGU may local autonomy. Section 3. The Congress shall enact a local government code. Ayan, may code na naman. Alinsunod yung code na yon dito sa Article 10 ng Constitution. So, siguro minsan babasahin din natin yung code na yan. Ipaliwanag natin dito, ano? Ayun. Yung code na yon, the Congress shall enact a local government code which shall provide for a more responsive and accountable local government structure instituted through a system of decentralization with effective mechanisms of recall, initiative, and referendum. Allocate among the different local government units their powers, responsibilities, and resources, and provide for the qualifications, election, appointment, and removal, term, salaries, powers and functions and duties of local officials, and all other matters relating to the organization and operation of the local units. So minsan babasahin natin yung local government code para malaman natin ano ba ang kapangyarihan at obligasyon natin sa local government code at ano ba yung obligasyon nila sa atin. Sa pagkakaalam ko, ang pagkuha ng basura ay obligasyon nila. Section 4, the President of the Philippines shall exercise general supervision over local governments. Yan nga po, lahat ng local governments, under po yan ng DILG. Which is, DILG is under ng Pangulo, syempre. Provinces with respect to component cities and municipalities, and cities and municipalities with respect to component barangays, shall ensure that the acts of... ang presidente rin daw shall ensure that the acts of their component units are within the scope of their prescribed powers and functions. Kaya nga, di ba, pagka nagkakaproblema tayo sa mga tiwaling local officials, saan kayo nagre-reklamo? DILG. Section 4, the President of the Philippines shall exercise general supervision over local government. Yun na yan, nabasa na natin. Section 5, each local government unit shall have the power to create its own sources of revenues and to levy o mangolekta ng taxes, fees, charges subject to such guidelines and limitations as the Congress may provide. At dapat consistent din ito with the basic policy of local autonomy. Itong mga buwis na to, fees and charges shall accrue exclusively to the local governments. Pondo nila yan. Kaya ang hirap pag kurakot ang pinuno ng LGU mo at yung mga sekretary niya, yung mga tresurero niya, po, talagang problema. Okay, Section 6, local government units shall have a just share as determined by law in the national taxes which shall be automatically released to them. So, ang national government po, meron siyang share sa pangkalahatang buwis, binibigyan ang may share doon bawat local government. So, itong mga local government na to, may sarili na silang kita, binibigyan pa sila ng porsyento ng national na government. Kaya dapat hindi tayo tiwali yung mga nakaupo. Kasi lahat ng ginagamit nyo, pera ng taong bayan. Sus Mariosep. Section 7, local governments shall be entitled to an equitable share in the proceeds of the utilization and development of the national wealth within their respective areas in the manner provided by law, including sharing the same with the inhabitants by way of direct benefits. The term of office of elective local officials, except hindi kasaling barangay officials, which shall be determined by law, shall be 3 years daw. So si mayor, governor, mga bukal, mga kagawad, 3 years daw, and no such official shall serve for more than 3 consecutive terms. So kung si mayor 9 years na siya nakaupo, every year na nanalo siya, pwede yun. Pero sa susunod, hindi na siya pwedeng tumakbo. Pahinga muna siya ng isang term, isang 3 years, then another set of 3 years na naman, 3 years na naman, and 3 years na naman. Pwede na naman siya. Voluntary renunciation of the office for any length of time shall not be considered as an interruption in the continuity of his service for the full term for which he was elected. Section 9, legislative bodies of local governments shall have sectoral representation as may be prescribed by law. Legislative bodies ng local governments, kumbaga sila ang kongreso ng lokal na pamahalaan, sila yung gumagawa ng mga ordinansa. Section 10, wala raw probinsya, city, municipality, or barangay may be created, divided, merged, abolished, or its boundary substantially altered. Hindi raw pwedeng gawin yon, except na lang in accordance with the criteria established in the local government code and subject to approval by a majority of votes cast sa isang plebisito in political units directly affected. Okay, so kailangan daw bumoto majority sa plebisito ng mga political units na gagawin mo, hahatiin mo, kailangan majority nila ay pumayag. So hindi pwedeng porke malaki na yung barangay o malaki na yung probinsya mo, magkikreate ka ng bagong probinsya, hindi pwede yun. Section 11. The Congress may, by law, create special metropolitan political subdivisions subject to a plebiscite as set forth in Section 10 hereof. The component cities and municipalities shall retain their basic autonomy and shall be entitled to their own local executive and legislative assemblies. The jurisdiction of the metropolitan authority that will thereby be created shall be limited to basic services requiring coordination. Ito naman, yung Congress, pwede silang mag-create ng metropolitan political subdivisions. Subject to plebiscito pa rin yun. Pagbobotohan natin mga tao yun sa plebiscite. Majority ng bumoto roon ay dapat pabor. Section 12, cities that are highly urbanized as determined by law, tulad ng Metro Manila, and component cities whose charters prohibit their voters from voting for provincial elective officials shall be independent of the province. The voters of component cities within a province whose charters contain no such prohibitions shall not be deprived of the right to vote for elective provincial officials. Section 13. Sabi dito, local government units may group themselves, consolidate or coordinate their efforts, services, and resources for purposes commonly beneficial to them in accordance with the law. Section 14, the President shall provide for regional development councils or other similar bodies composed of local government officials, regional heads of departments, and other government offices and representatives from non-governmental organizations within the regions for purposes of administrative decentralization to strengthen the autonomy of the units therein and to accelerate the economic and social growth and development of the units in the region. Ito, wala tayong masyadong balita sa mga nagaganap dito, pero siguro ito yung League of City Councilors, League of Barangays. Ayan, may pagpupulong sila. Ayun, okay. Tapos na tayo sa local government. Isusupplement natin yan sa pamamagitan ng pagbasa natin minsan sa local government code. Okay. So meron pa yung local government autonomous regions, no? Basahin na rin natin para may idea tayo sa mga autonomous regions. Sabi sa Section 15, there shall be created autonomous regions in Muslim Mindanao and in Cordilleras consisting of provinces, cities, municipalities, and geographical areas sharing common and distinctive historical and cultural heritage, economic and social structures, and other relevant characteristics within the framework of this Constitution, the national sovereignty, as well as territorial integrity to the Republic of the Philippines. Ang paggawa po ng Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao and Cordilleras ay isa ring uri ng paggalang ng ating estado sa kanilang mga kultura. Okay. Section 16, the President shall exercise general supervision over autonomous regions to ensure that laws are faithfully executed. Section 17, all powers, functions, and responsibilities not granted by this Constitution or by law to the autonomous regions shall be vested in the national government. Okay, so Section 19, the first Congress elected under this Constitution within 18 months from the time of organization of both houses passed the organic acts for the autonomous regions in Muslim Mindanao and Cordillera. Yan, naipasa na nila yan. Yung Congress, yung grupo ng mga congressmen na na-elect noong panahon na ng bagong nung inadapt natin itong ating saligang batas o Constitution. Section 18, the Congress shall enact an organic act for each autonomous region with the assistance and participation of the Regional Consultative Commission composed of representatives appointed by the President from a list of nominees from multisectoral bodies. Napapanood nyo sa TV to, binabalita yung mga nangyayari, yung mga pakipag-usap. Oops, muntik na mag-tumbling. Yung mga, wait lang muntik mag-tumbling. Yan. Okay. Saan ba ako? Yan. Yung pakikipag-usap ng ating national government sa kanila. Okay. The Organic Act shall define the basic structure of government for the region consisting of the Executive Department and Legislative Assembly, both of which shall be elective and representative of the constituent political units. Ito yung mga Bangsamoro Special Law siguro, ano? The Organic Act shall likewise provide for special courts with personal, family, property law jurisdiction consistent with the provisions of this Constitution and national laws. Ang nilalagay like kunwari sa ARM, yung sa mga korte nila doon, syempre mga abogadong Muslim, yung mga nakakaunawa ng Sharia law. Okay? The creation of the autonomous region shall be effective when approved by majority of the votes cast by the constituent units in a plebiscite called for the purpose, provided that only provinces, cities, and geographic areas voting favorably in such plebiscite shall be included in the autonomous region. Section 19, the first Congress. Ito, passed na yun. Elected under this Constitution shall, within 18 months from the time for guys, huwag natin basahin yan kasi nagawa na nila yan. Na-enact naman na nila yung Section 20. Within its territorial jurisdiction and subject to the provisions of this Constitution and national laws, the Organic Act of Autonomous Regions shall provide for legislative powers over administrative organization, creation of resources of revenues, ancestral domain, and natural resources. Actually, isa yan sa pinaka-important, yung ancestral domain and yung natural resources. Mahirap kasi pagpapasukan ng mayayamang kapitalista itong mga lugar na ito, tapos madi-displace lamang yung ating mga yung maaalis lamang sila sa kanilang ancestral domains at sisirain lang ng mga modernong pamamaraan yung kanilang way of life. Doon po nagkakaroon ng gera, doon nagkakaroon ng gulo. Tapos yung mga displaced na mga kababayan nating katutubo or members ng indigenous groups, sumasali na lamang sila sa mga rebelding grupo kasi napapabayaan sila ng gobyerno. Ayun. Siyempre, yung personal, family, and property relations, regional, urban, and rural planning development, kasama yon. Economic, social, and tourism development, educational policies, preservation, development of the cultural heritage. Very important, yung kultura ng ating mga tribal groups. And such other matters as may be authorized by law for the promotion of the general welfare of the people of the region. Section 21, the preservation of peace and order within the region shall be responsibility of local police agencies which shall be organized, maintained, supervised, and utilized in accordance with applicable laws. Ang problema lang, nagagamit itong mga to na private army, na mga greedy at mayayaman na mga warlord. The defense and security of the region shall be the responsibility of the national government. Punta na rin tayo sa accountability ng public officers, no? Naku po, madami-dami ito yata. Basahin na rin natin. Article 11. Accountability of public officers. Sabi dito, public office is a public trust. Sabi, saan na ba ako? Ayan. Public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people, serve them with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency, act with patriotism and justice, and lead modest. Ibig sabihin, simpleng buhay lang dapat. Yung mga public officers, dapat maayos ang trato nila sa lahat ng tao. Kaso hindi sila ganun. Sana mabago na, Section 2. Yung President, VP, and members of the Supreme Court at Constitutional Commissions and Ombudsman may only be removed on impeachment for and conviction of culpable violation of the Constitution. Mahalaga to, treason, bribery, graft and corruption, other high crimes, or betrayal of public trust. Yun lang ang paraan na pwede silang tanggalin. All other public officers and employees may be removed from office as provided by law, pero hindi ng impeachment. Ulitin ko, ang pwede lang impeach yung Pangulo, Vice President, members of the Supreme Court, yun nangyari kay Justice Corona, members ng Constitutional Commissions, kasama, sino ba yung mga Constitutional Commissions? Members ng Civil Service, members ng Commission on Elections, and members ng COA, Commission on Audit. And syempre yung Ombudsman, ay pwedeng tanggalin through impeachment. Paano naman ginagawa ang impeachment? Sabi rito, Section 3, the House of Representatives shall have the exclusive power to initiate all the cases of impeachment. Sila lamang. House of Representatives lamang. Okay, sa Kongreso nang gagaling yan. Sila yung mag-i-initiate. So, ito yon. Ito na yung initiation process. Basahin natin. A verified complaint for impeachment may be filed by any member of the House of Representatives or by any citizen upon a resolution or endorsement by any member thereof, which shall be included in the order of business within 10 session days and referred to the proper committee within 3 session days thereafter. May mga committee kasi sila dyan, di ba? The committee, after hearing and by a majority vote of all members, shall submit its report to the House within 60 session days from such referral together with the corresponding resolution. The resolution shall be calendared for consideration by the House within 10 session days from receipt thereof. A vote of at least 1/3 of all the members of the House shall be necessary either to affirm a favorable resolution with the articles of impeachment of the committee or override its contrary resolution. The vote of each member shall be recorded. In case the verified complaint or resolution of impeachment is filed by at least 1/3 of all the members of the House, the same shall constitute the articles of impeachment, and trial by the Senate shall forthwith proceed. Okay? So mag-i-initiate sa Kongreso ang magta-trial, the Senate acting as an impeachment court. Sabi rin dito sa Article 9, no impeachment proceedings shall be initiated against the same official more than once within a period of 1 year. So sa isang taon, isang impeachment complaint lamang ang pwedeng gawin sa isang opisyal. The Senate shall have the sole power to try and decide all cases of impeachment. Senate lang. When sitting for the purpose, the senator shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the Philippines is on trial, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court shall preside. Siya yung magpe-preside, siya yung magtitimon, siya yung kumbaga parang pinaka-head doon. Okay, siya yung presiding officer, yung Chief Justice sa Supreme Court. Pag Pangulo, parang yung nangyari kay Erap. During his impeachment case, si Chief Justice Hilary Davide ang nag-preside, okay? Pero hindi raw siya boboto. No person shall be convicted without the concurrence of two-thirds of the members of the Senate. Two-thirds of the members of the Senate. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than removal from office and disqualification to hold any office under the Republic of the Philippines, but the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to prosecution, trial. Sabi niya ulit, but the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to prosecution, trial, and punishment according to law. Ano ibig sabihin doon? Yun, oo. Yung judgment ng impeachment, removal lang. Okay? The Congress shall promulgate its rules on impeachment to effectively carry out the purpose of this section. Section 4, the present anti-graft court known as Sandigan Bayan. May bago akong kaalaman. Ang Sandigan Bayan pala yung anti-graft court natin. It shall continue to function and exercise jurisdiction as now or hereafter may be provided by law. Yun ang anti-graft court. Section 5 naman, ito yung ombudsman. Sabi niya, there is hereby created the independent office of the ombudsman, composed of the ombudsman to be known as the Tanod Bayan, isa pang overall deputy and at least one deputy each for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So parang 4 na deputies yan. One overall deputies, tapos isang deputy sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Tapos syempre si ombudsman. Meron ding deputy na isa pa for the military. Okay? So, yun. Okay? So, magkaiba. Ombudsman, yung anti-graft court natin is Sandigan Bayan. Okay? Okay. Okay, the officials and employees of the Office of the Ombudsman other than Devin, appoint din daw yung mga ibang opisyalis maliban sa mga nabanggit according to the Civil Service Law. Section 7, the existing Tanod Bayan shall hereafter be known as the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Yun. Kung ang kung ang Sandigan Bayan ay ang anti-graft court, ang Tanod Bayan o ang ombudsman ay ang special prosecutor. It shall continue to function and exercise its powers as now or hereafter may be provided by law, except those conferred on the office of the ombudsman created under this Constitution. Special prosecutor po siya. Sa madaling salita, siya po ay abogado ng gobyerno. Siya ay magpo-prosecute. Ididiin niya yung mga may kasalanan. No? Section 8, the ombudsman and his deputies shall be natural-born citizens of the Philippines. At the time of their appointment, dapat at least 40 years of age. Parang mga pangulo. Parang sa president, 40 years old din dapat. Of recognized probity and independence and members of the Philippine Bar, dapat abogado. And must not have been candidates for any elective office in the immediately preceding election. The ombudsman must have 10 years. Dapat dati siyang judge or engaged in the practice of law in the Philippines. Hindi for 10 years or more. Yan ang kwalifikasyon niya. During their tenure, they shall be subject to the same disqualifications and prohibitions as provided for in Section 2 of Article 9A of this Constitution. Section 9, the Ombudsman. Kilalanin pa natin si Ombudsman. The Ombudsman and his deputies shall be appointed by the President from a list of at least 6 nominees prepared by the Judicial and Bar Council. Para similar din sa appointment ng Supreme Court, Pangulo ang nag-a-appoint, nagbibigay ng kopya ang Judicial and Bar Council, nagbibigay ng recommendation ng Judicial and Bar Council, pipili si Pangulo sa 6 na nirekomenda nila para sa Ombudsman. 3 naman yata, yun nabanggit ko, para sa pagka-Supreme Court naman, no? Pag-Supreme Court Justice naman. So, yun. Such appointment shall require no confirmation. Di na rin kailangan ng confirmation ng COA pag in-appoint ka na ni Pangulo. Section 10. The Ombudsman and his deputies shall have the rank of chairman and members respectively of the Constitutional Commissions. Matataas din ang rango nila. Para silang mga head ng Constitutional Commissions. And they shall receive the same salary which shall not be decreased during their term of office. Section 11. The Ombudsman and his deputies shall serve for a term of 7 years. Parang yung chairman ng Civil Service, yung chairman ng COMELEC, at yung chairman ng COA. They shall not be qualified to run for any office in the election immediately succeeding their cessation of office. So pagkatapos nila sa kanilang term of office, kailangan muna nila magpalipas ng panahon. Preferably 1 taon yata kung gugustuhin nilang tumakbo sa public service. Gusto niya kumandidato. Section 12. The Ombudsman and his deputies as protectors of the people shall act promptly on complaints filed in any form or manner against public officials or employees of the government or any subdivision, agency, or instrumentality thereof, including government-owned or controlled corporations, and shall, in appropriate cases, notify the complainants of the action taken and the result thereof. Punta tayo Section 13. The office of the Ombudsman shall have the following powers. Ito yung kapangyarihan niya. Investigate on its own, number 1. Investigate on its own or on complaint by any person, any act, or omission of any public official, employee, office, or agency when such act or omission appears to be illegal, unjust, improper, or inefficient. Act or omission. Meron siyang illegal na act o meron siyang hindi ginawa na dapat ginawa niya. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng omission. Number 2, direct. Upon complaint or at its own instance, and at its own instance, ibig sabihin sa sarili niyang pagtatangi, pwede niyang utusan any public official or employee of the government or any subdivision, agency, or instrumentality thereof, as well as any government-owned or controlled corporation with original charter to perform. Pwede niyang utusan to perform and expedite any act or duty required by law or to stop, prevent, and correct any abuse or impropriety in the performance of their duties. Ikatlo, may kapangyarihan sila to direct the officer concerned to take appropriate action against a public official or employee at fault and recommend his removal, suspension, demotion, fine, censure, or prosecution and ensure compliance therewith. Ika-4 na kapangyarihan ng Ombudsman, direct the officer concerned in any appropriate case and subject to such limitations as may be provided by law to furnish it with copies of documents relating to contracts or transactions entered into by his office involving the disbursement or use of public funds or properties and report any irregularity to the Commission on Audit for appropriate action. Ika-5 kapangyarihan niya, request any government agency for assistance and information necessary in the discharge of its responsibilities. Kapangyarihan niya rin daw to examine if necessary pertinent records and documents. Yan. Ika-6 na kapangyarihan niya, public matters covered by its investigation when circumstances so warrant and with due prudence. 7. Determine the causes of inefficiency, red tape, mismanagement, fraud, and corruption in the government and make recommendations for their elimination and the observance of high standards of ethics and efficiency. Number 8, kapangyarihan nila to promulgate its rules of procedure and exercise such other powers or perform such functions or duties as may be provided by law. So kung isa kang abogado, appear ka before the ombudsman, meron din sila, or civil service, or meron silang mga siring rules, kailangan alam mo yung rules of procedure nila. Next time, susubukan nating basahin yung mga rules of procedure na yan, pero uunahin natin sa lahat ng procedure, kung maharap ko po, yung rules of court. Okay, kasi yun ang mas malapit sa ating mga ordinaryong tao. Section 14, the office of the ombudsman shall enjoy fiscal autonomy. Its approved annual appropriations shall be automatically and regularly released. Yan. Section 15, the right of the state to recover properties unlawfully acquired by public officials or employees from them or from their nominees or transferees shall not be barred by prescription, laches, or estopel. So itong mga government lawyers na ito, itong special prosecutor na tinatawag nating tanod bayan, sila yung representative ng Estado para ma-recover yung mga pag-aari ng Estado na kinurakot, no? At itong mga pag-aaring to ay hindi pwedeng hindi mo na i-claim. Hindi siya mababar ng prescription o ng latches o ng estopel. Lagi mong pwedeng i-claim ito. Laging pwedeng i-claim ng Estado yung pag-aari niya na subject of corruption, ano? Section 16. Ito, accountability pa rin tayo ng public officers, ha? No loan, guarantee, or other form of financial accommodation for any business purpose may be granted directly or indirectly by any government-owned or controlled bank or financial institution to the President, the Vice President, the members of the Cabinet, the Congress, the Supreme Court, and the Constitutional Commissions, the Ombudsman, or to any firm or entity in which they have controlling interest during their tenure. So, hindi ka pwede magpa-loan dito sa mga matataas na opisyalis na ito, sa mga opisyalis na nabanggit. Okay, section, saan na tayo? 17. Ang isa raw public officer or employee shall, upon assumption of office and as often thereafter as may be required by law, submit a declaration under oath of his assets, liabilities, and net worth. Ito yung SALN, ano? In the case of the President, the Vice President, the members of the Cabinet, the Congress, the Supreme Court, the Constitutional Commissions, and other constitutional offices and officers of the armed forces with general or flag rank. The declaration shall be disclosed to the public in the manner provided by law. Ito yung SALN, lalo na ng mga pinakamatataas na opisyalis ng gobyerno. Sinama niya na rin dito yung pinakamatataas na opisyalis ng armed forces. Section 18. Public officers and the employees owe the state and this Constitution allegiance at all times, and any public officer or employee who seeks to change his citizenship or acquire the status of an immigrant to another country during his tenure shall be dealt with by the law. Okay? Dapat meron tayong allegiance, yung mga public officers sa ating estado at sa Constitution at all times. Ngayon, para sa ikakaklaro nating lahat, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng allegiance? Okay. There was a time na nalilito ako dyan, alliance, alyansa, pero hindi, iba ang ibig sabihin ng allegiance. Ngayon, ba't hindi natin i-define? Para sa kaalaman nating mga ano ba ang allegiance in layman's terms? Sandali, ha. Nahirapan ako maghanap eh. Allegiance. Okay, ito. Ang ibig sabihin ng allegiance ay loyalty or commitment of a subordinate to a superior or of an individual to a group or cause. So, kunwari, ang allegiance, meron tayong commitment sa ating o natatanging pagkampi sa ating bansa, sa ating estado at sa ating konstitusyon. Bahagi ng konstitusyon itong binabasa kong ito. Okay, nasa na tayo? Tapos na tayo sa accountability of public officers. Sumunod naman yung national economy and patrimony. Okay. So, mahalaga din naman yung mga nakalagay dito. Magbasa lang tayo ng konti. Sabi lang dito, the goals of the national economy are a more equitable distribution of opportunities. Okay? Equitable. Sayang, no? Sana nangyayari to. Equitable distribution of opportunities, income, and wealth. A sustained increase in the amount of goods and services produced by the nation and for the benefit of the people. Yan. Mahabang mahaba ito na puro sa kapakanan natin. Pero basahin na rin natin tong section 3 niya. Sabi rito, lands of public domain are classified into agricultural, forest, or timber, mineral lands, and national parks. Sabi ron. Okay. Ito, ang alienable lands of the public domain shall be limited to agricultural lands. So, yung mga forest or timber, mineral lands and national parks, hindi pwedeng ibenta, hindi pwedeng i-alienate. Kumbaga, those are inalienable assets of the state. Ang pwede lang payagan ng estado na maging pag-aari ng pribadong tao, pribadong korporasyon, ay agricultural lands. Okay? Yung Congress daw, dapat limitahan nila yung mag-set sila ng specific limits sa mga forest land and national parks. Mamarkahan nila yung boundary. Diba? Sabi pa rito, in cases of hereditary succession, wala daw private land shall be transferred or conveyed except to individuals, corporations, or associations qualified to acquire or hold lands of the public domain. Gobyerno lang yung magsasabi noon. Ang problema, ginagamit ito ng mga kurakot. Mimili ng resort, ganyan. Mimili ng isla, mga gobernor, mga ganun. Section 8, notwithstanding the provisions of Section 7 of this article, a natural-born citizen of the Philippines who has lost his Philippine citizenship may be a transferee of private lands subject to limitations provided by law. Babasa lang tayo ng mga ibang mahalaga pa sa Article 12, National Economy and Patrimony. Kailangan daw gumawa ng Congress ng agency to promote the viability and growth of cooperatives as instruments for social justice and economic development. Lahat po yung mga kooperatiba na yan, alinsunod yan sa konstitusyon. Yung mga ahensya na nangangasiwa sa mga kooperatiba, yung mga SEC na nangangasiwa sa korporasyon, alinsunod po ang Corporation Code sa konstitusyon pa rin. Okay? Sabi pa rito, foreign loans may only be incurred in accordance with law and the regulation of the monetary authority. Nabasa natin to, kapangyarihan ng Pangulo to. Kailangan may regulation ng monetary authority. Okay. Kailangan daw yung information on foreign loans gawing available to the public. Sabi pa rito sa last section niya, section 22, acts which circumvent or negate any of the provisions of this article shall be considered inimical to the national interest and subject to criminal and civil sanctions as may be provided by law. So kung sasalungatin mo yung mga nakalagay sa Constitution, yan ay unconstitutional. At inuutosan niya pa nga na mag-create ang Congress na mga batas na pwede kang ipakulong kapag violate mo ang Constitution. Diba? Okay, 13, social justice and human rights. Sabi lamang dito, the Congress shall give highest priority to the enactment of measures that protect and enhance the right of all people to human dignity, reduce social, economic, and political inequalities, and remove cultural inequities by equitably diffusing wealth and political power for the common good. To this end, the state shall regulate the acquisition, ownership, use, and disposition of property and its increments. Sabi pa rito, the promotion of social justice shall include the commitment to create economic opportunities based on freedom of initiative and self-reliance. Dito nakaangkla yung mga yung creation ng Human Rights Commission, yung mga ginagawang protection, mga anuman yan na nakikita natin na pagbabago na makakaprotekta sa human rights, magpo-promote ng social justice, nagbibigay ng trabaho, yan, alinsunod po lahat yan sa konstitusyon. Kasi dapat may kapakinabangan tayo dyan sa ating sariling bansa. Meron pa rito, social justice and human rights, ayan. Dito naman nakaangkla ang ating labor code. Sabi rito, the state shall afford full protection to labor, local and overseas, organized and unorganized, and promote full employment and equality of employment opportunities of all. Dito nakakaangkla yung labor code. It shall guarantee the rights of all workers to self-organization, collective bargaining and negotiations, and peaceful concerted activities, including the right to strike in accordance with the law. Ayan ha. In-upload ko na po yung pagbasa ko at konting pag-interpret ng labor code. Okay. So, nakaangkla po yung mga code na yan at yung mga special laws. Lahat ng batas nakaangkla sa Constitution. Okay, punta naman tayo sa social justice and human rights. Ayan. Okay na yan. Ano pa ba? Role and rights of people's organization. Ito yung women, punta naman tayo sa health. Sabi rito sa health, Article 13 pa rin, the state shall adopt an integrated and comprehensive approach to health development which shall endeavor to make essential goods, health, and other social services available to all the people at affordable cost. So yung pag-aasikaso natin, so yung compulsory coverage kunwari ng PhilHealth, that is alinsunod dito, that is in accordance with Article 13, social justice and human rights. Okay, sabi pa rin dito yung mga batas about sick, elderly, disabled women, yung mga benepisyo ng mga senior citizens, nakaangkla yun dito. and the children. Yung mga 7610 na magpoprotekta sa karapatan ng mga kabataan at ng women, yung 9262, very famous yan. Yung anti-vowsy law, nakaangkla yan dito. Okay? Ano ba? Sabi pa rito, the state shall establish and maintain an effective food and drug regulatory system. So yung FDA natin, nakaangkla rito yan. Kailangan daw maglaan sila ng manpower development, research responsive to the country's health needs and problems. Sana masolusyonan natin yung COVID, no? Sana marami pang makapanood nito at hopefully matuto at ma-empower at sana wag naman tayong pumanaw lahat bago masolusyonan yung COVID, no? Sana may kinabukasan pa tayong lahat. Section 13, the state shall establish a special agency for disabled person for their rehabilitation, self-development, and self-reliance and their integration to the mainstream of society. Pag ako po yumaman, siguro isa ito sa mga advocacies ko. Bukod sa depression, bukod sa environment, ito mga disabled at yung mga elderly. Okay, kaya lahat ng batas na pumapabor sa elderly, disabled, at sa women, nakaangkla po yun sa ating konstitusyon. Meron din siyang Article 14, pagpapahalaga sa edukasyon. Sabi rito, the state shall protect and promote the rights of all citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all. So yung free education na batas, nakaangkla po dito yung RA something na yon na free education para sa mga state universities, high schools, public schools. Yung K-12 na nangyari naman nung panahon ni Pinoy, nakaangkla naman din yun dito kasi gusto natin makasabay tayo sa kalidad ng edukasyon abroad. Okay? Yung language naman. Sabi rito, the national language of the Philippines is Filipino. As it evolves, it shall be further developed and enriched on the basis of existing Philippine and other languages. So, pwede pa natin pagyamanin at dagdagan yung ating lengguwahe. Subject to provisions of law and as the Congress may deem appropriate, the government shall take steps to initiate and sustain the use of Filipino as a medium of official communication and as language of instruction in the educational system. Nakakalungkot lang na marami po akong kilala na mahuhusay sa batas. Ang tingin ko, ang pinakamahuhusay ng mga estudyante sa batas ay yung hindi mahuhusay sa Ingles. Ngunit mahuhusay mag-express sa Tagalog. Palpak nga lang sila sa English. Sa atin po sa buong Asia, advantage natin yung marunong tayo mag-English. Pero sa opinion ko lamang po, dapat yung pag-aaral natin ng batas, sana Tagalog. Tayo lang sa Asia yung English. Ginagaya natin yung Amerika. Ano pa? Yun na. May pagpapahalaga tayo sa science and technology, arts and culture. Yun ang huli nitong Article 14 na yun. So, wow. May sounds, wow. So, natapos ko na po ang lahat ng pinakamahalagang probisyon ng ating konstitusyon. Ito po ay article up to 14 hanggang dulo na po itong live na to. So, ito po ang pagtatapos ng Philippine Constitution. Siguro pwede ako maglagay ng mga supplementary dito, yung local government code, yan. Pwede kong basahin minsan. Yung mga international laws, yung mga treaty, yan. Supplemental yan sa pag-aaral ng ating konstitusyon. So ngayon, na-realize na natin na lahat ng krimen, lahat ng mga due process of law, etc. nakaangkla lahat sa komunikasyon. And so, we have a guest, si Nausok. Hello, Nausok. I am just explaining the Philippine laws, our constitution, the Bible and the basis of all Philippine laws. I am just about to finish to explain the whole constitution of our country. Hello. And God bless you guys. And now, thank you for joining and thank you for saying hi. And to the rest, sa lahat ng ating viewers, to all the viewers, and to everyone, maraming salamat, especially Pern Ann. Maraming salamat sa mga kasama sa panonood. Pinaghihirapan ko pong basahin ito. Hindi po ako nag-aral ng ganito kailanman. Hindi ko ako nagbasa ng ganito kailanman sa law school. I have never read as much, but ginagamit ko ito to share my knowledge and to share the Constitution with everyone. No, you do not need to buy a book to understand the Constitution. You just have to watch my video and hopefully an ordinary citizen will be enlightened, 'di ba, sa ating Philippine laws. So God bless you guys and I hope you enjoy this. I hope you will share itong aking playlist, yung wherein I'm trying to explain the Philippine laws in layman's terms. So God bless you. This is Lolo Ray and see you next time.